Well, we all know how important education is, and I really thank you for serving at the local school board level where so many of those decisions are made. Up here at the state capitol, we're looking, if you look at the governor's budget, about 40% of the entire state budget is in K-12 education. That's pretty much about where it has been historically. And of course, one of the governor's key proposals is all-day pre-K or pre-kindergarten, preschool for all. And while that sounds good, and as you know, I'm a big supporter of high quality early childhood, knowing that that helps prepare kids to be ready to learn when they get to kindergarten, and that is essential. I do have some questions about that governor's proposal. For one thing, it doesn't really bring additional funding to the school districts to help further implement that. There is funding, but it certainly doesn't include what might be necessary for additional classrooms, for example. So it might increase the referendum responsibilities of our school districts. I'm actually looking at a proposal, actually I've authored proposals in the past, and am again to fund those early childhood learning scholarships, which actually help provide that high quality childhood, but also allow the private sector to do that as well. But I'm hoping that our school districts, that you're given the flexibility to implement what you think is best. It's going to work best for our district regarding making sure kids are prepared for kindergarten when they get there. And that very same thought carries over to the proposal about mandatory physical education standards. And the question there is, I'm going to be listening to you as the experts in the field. How is that going to impact you? Do you support that? Is it going to cause problems? So far, the testimony from school officials have been concerns about the lack of resources and the lack of time, really, in student schedules, and how that would impact scheduling options for students. So there's still a lot of concerns about that proposal as it works its way through the system here. Maybe some of those will get ironed out, but it is a fact that we are facing an obesity crisis in this nation, and all the costs that are attendant with that, and how can we help prevent that? There's a lot of ways, and I'm sure that looking at those mandatory physical education standards may be part of that, but as again, it will have to be tweaked so that it actually works for practitioners in the field, such as the teachers and schools that you represent. I would hope that high quality education is not a partisan issue. I do think it will be great, there will be great support, as there always is, but I think there will be different views on reform. How do we get different results than we have now? I know that this school district, and particularly the Rochester School District, actually leads the state in almost every metric. But I will tell you, statewide, and particularly in some of our larger districts, Minneapolis and St. Paul, for example, there's some real concerns about our growing number of kids who aren't graduating from high school. And I just read a document in my higher education committee yesterday. Less than 40% of kids who graduate from high school and take the ACT are college ready. So actually, I mean, I think I have that in verse. I think 40% are not ready and only 60% are. But the fact of the matter is, we've got maybe 6 out of 10 kids that graduate from our institutions, our K-12 schools, take the ACT. Of those who take the ACT, only nearly half of them are not prepared for higher education. So we actually need to look at how can we do a better job of preparing kids. Starts with high quality preschool, reading on grade level by grade 3. I think those are ways to start that process, and I hope it continues. But it is concerning when we have so many kids that aren't ready for college work when they graduate. Well, it's very interesting because we have half as many committee hearing rooms as we typically have. So in a sense, the session seems that it's a lot slower. There aren't as many hearings. And one of the things I really miss is the people. We usually have hundreds of people who come to the Capitol every day and meet in the rotunda to talk about things that are important to them. And we're not seeing that because the rotunda is closed off. So there are meetings off-site, but of course it's harder for legislators to get to. I will say it's well worth it. The Capitol is in great need of restoration. This is a 100-year project that needs some renovation here. I would say one element's probably not very warmly received, and that is the porta potties that are outside, because most of the Capitol here with the restrooms in it is closed. About 60% of the Capitol is closed right now. So very needed project, and it does present a few challenges here this year and next. All right, well, thank you again for serving, and I appreciate the focus on learners E through 12, K through 12, making sure that our kids enter school ready to learn, graduate, ready for college and career. I know school boards, you have a lot on your plate, and I, up here at the state, will give you as much flexibility. That's my role, to really give our local school districts and leaders as much flexibility to best educate our kids.